Hi guys, welcome to Classic Sitcoms, Facts, and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Today's video is going to be on Thanksgiving again. Please subscribe if you have not yet. If you can't tell, I'm very tired right now. Today's video is on 10 times that Thanksgiving was done just right on classic TV shows. Let's take a look. First, we go with the Beverly Hillbillies, Ellie's first date. Beverly Hillbillies trotted out the turkey in their very first season with Ellie's first date as Granny and Jed get the Thanksgiving feast prepared in the background. Ellie gets set up for her first date at 17. And lucky Ellie, that date is with Sonny Drysdale, the stuck-up son of Margaret Drysdale, who is more interested in turning Ellie Mae into a notion of an ideal woman. The attempted romance ends up putting the Drysdales and the Clampetts at one big hilarious table. My Three Sons, Chip's Harvest, from 1960. It's Thanksgiving Day on My Three Sons, but there was only one problem. The stove was broken. They checked the restaurants, but everybody's all booked up, and it's beginning to look like the Douglas family will go without a turkey this particular year. Chip saves the day when he makes friends with a Native American man who is able to turn the situation around by teaching the boys how to cook a turkey in the great outdoors. Happy Days, the first Thanksgiving, 1978. It's Marion Cunningham versus the NFL in this funny later episode of Happy Days that finds everybody dressed up in pilgrim garb on the holiday. Fonzie even shows up on an ancient-looking wooden motorcycle. That's because Mrs. C believes the boys have lost the spirit of Thanksgiving and their obsessive interest in the day's big football games. The Brady Bunch, the Underground movie, 1970. Here's an unusual Thanksgiving premise you will remember from the Brady Bunch. In the episode The Underground movie, Greg got a history project to do, and he decides to make a movie that documents the first Thanksgiving. Of course, it stars his entire family, and the episode takes us behind the scenes of the whole production. The scene shown in this picture is from the family home screening, and as you can see, these little pilgrims end the episode pleased as pie about their end results. Father Knows Best, Thanksgiving Day, 1954. Many shows invited us to Thanksgiving dinner in the 50s, but few sitcoms dared to show the emotional range that Father Knows Best cooked up for their Thanksgiving Day episode. Plot centers on young Kathy and her Thanksgiving poem, which wins a prize, and gets her invited to read it out loud on TV on Thanksgiving Day. What follows is not your typical Thanksgiving fare, including the feast the family has at the end. The Munsters, Low-Cal Munster, 1964. Nobody likes dieting, but the absolutely worst is being on a diet on Thanksgiving Day. That's the cruel torture Herman Munster finds himself experiencing in the Munsters episode, Low-Cal Munster. Tasked with losing 100 pounds in 1 week, Herman's plate remains empty. Luckily, the laughs fill up that empty space. And number 7, the Beverly Hillbillies Turkey Day, 1963. A bit ago, when I was talking about Ellie Mae and Sonny being a bad recipe for romance in 62, well, the Beverly Hillbillies returned for a second time with a Thanksgiving episode the next year called Turkey Day, where the problem is the opposite. Ellie is way too attached to her current plot interest. That's because this time it's an actual turkey that Ellie's fallen for, and despite tradition, nobody in the family is up for the task of taking the turkey's life. That Girl. Thanksgiving comes once a year, hopefully, 1967. It's Anne-Marie's first time cooking up Thanksgiving dinner on That Girl, and the result is as big a fiasco as you might imagine. She invites both her parents and her boyfriend, Donald, to come over and attempts to make everybody happy with a very varied menu. She bounces between kitchens to accommodate all her guests. Hilarity ensues, leaving audiences as breathless as they were waiting on her turkey to finish, too. Good Times, Grandpa's Visit, 1976. For the Thanksgiving episode of Good Times, Grandpa's Visit, Florida Evans very charitably ends the exile of Grandpa Henry by welcoming him at the family feast. She gets no reward for her show of goodwill when Grandpa brings along an unacceptable guest, his live-in girlfriend, and then starts telling fabulous lies to the kids. And, of course, WKRP in Cincinnati, Turkeys Away in 1978. Just giving away turkeys on this special episode of WKRP in Cincinnati, based on a real radio promotion that happened in the 70s where they dropped turkeys from the sky. The episode mirrors the horde-gathered crowds experienced as the turkeys splattered on the ground. Station manager Arthur Carlson is on the scene, unfortunately for him. It's the biggest disaster in Thanksgiving sitcom history and one of the wildest Turkey Day episodes I've ever seen. Test how well you remember this episode. You can, just by looking at the last video that I did, yesterday's video, you can take a look at that. It's also on the WKRP. That's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Have a great Friday. God bless you, and I'll be praying for you.